4, 3, 2, 1.
70.
Welcome back to March Mayhem,
Which will not be in April, but whatever.
Today, we have Bryce Boltzmann taking on Geno.
Geno is the higher seed, so we're just going to jump right into it and say...
Let me just say, Ryan, I got notes, pal. Look at this thick tome over here.
I see it.
Jumbo highlights pictures for
You're
kids.
going down. Look at all these pages here. You see all this?
I would be 100%
all of that
honest with you. Geno's wiki page is about 6 paragraphs tops.
Boom, right there. This has 256 pages. Geno's gonna get smacked with some knowledge.
Is he though?
You're...
Right.
Yeah.
You want heads or tails, boy?
Geno doesn't have a tail. He does have a head though, so I'm gonna go heads.
Okay. It is heads.
Of course it is.
Do you want first or second?
You know what? I'm gonna go first because that's been working. I feel like lately.
Do it, boy.
So I have Geno. His real name is unpronounceable in mortal languages, as he is a warrior from the Star World. Geno has come to this world specifically to collect all of the star pieces to restore the power of wishes to the world. And, I mean, he's got some level of power over wishes, specifically because, you know, he is over there just to do the, restore wish power back. Geno has a litany of powerful moves. He's also considered the fastest of Mario's allies, which I'm going to extrapolate that a step further. That's fastest with Mario on the team. Mario was in Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games, and Mario in that can outrun Sonic, which means that Geno, in some way, is faster than Sonic, if you really think about it. Now, Geno also has the strongest move in the game, the Geno Whirl, which does 9s all the way across. It's the maximum possible damage that can be done in that game, and it is more damage than anybody, including the final boss, has in health. The final boss, an interdimensional being who rules over a gang of all of the other bosses you fought the entire day. In short, he's basically a descendant, an angel from the Star World, come to restore the power of wishes. He's just in a doll costume, by the way. His actual being is a star being who, can't have a corporeal form, but is also unkillable. So he can possess different kinds of puppets. It just so happens this doll was the one he possessed. He also possesses the ability to turn into a cannon and shoot an orb of light that explodes, damaging everybody in front of him and anyone near him. And he also has the ability to buff his power and speed even further. Essentially, he is incredibly fast and incredibly hard-hitting. And he has the power to one-tap literally anything with the power of wishes. So, there you have it. That is Geno from Super Mario RPG.
I'm going to be honest with you, Andrew. I know nothing about Bryce Boltzmann. So.
Well, perfect, because no one does. So, go ahead and hit my timer.
I already did.
Bryce Boltzmann, NeverDead. He is a 500-year-old being. Now, Joe, I know what you're thinking. 500? He's just a man. How is that possible? Because he was an ancient demon hunter. However, a demon king killed his wife, but he wasn't done. He cursed Bryce with immortality. Bryce Boltzmann cannot die. Now, since then, he has become a mercenary and primarily works for the government to kill demons and other monsters, gods, bad guys, all sorts of beings across the world. Now, Bryce's main ability is that he can never be killed. He can lose his limbs, and he just reattaches them. He can tear off his limbs, throw them, in each deck. You can reattach them. As a head, he can somehow roll around as an individual head. He can He can replace everything at a molecular level. His ability is that he cannot be killed, to the point where he can control elements. Like he can set himself on fire and attack with fire body parts, and it doesn't damage him. He just comes back as normal. Electricity. He has 2 automatic handguns that he can coat the bullets in his blood and skin. Now, what that means is his allies, if he shoots them with his blood, he heals them. Doesn't matter for this, though. It's a cool fact. In-game, he can coat them with his burning skin to set his enemies on fire. He can coat them in electricity. He just holds the gun while he's being electrocuted, shoots his target, he electrocutes them. He can also shoot electricity in forms of lightning from his hands and other orifices, because he can still do it as he's a rolling head. And his main weapon is his legendary sword, which he's had his entire life, and it was crafted, and it's sigiled, it's magic to specifically kill demons and gods that cannot be killed by any other means. And through enhancements, he can power up the sword, add sigil to it to kill other enemies, additional enemies, and hurt other enemies. And then he can also upgrade himself. So now he has had so many upgrades that he is superhuman strength, superhuman speed. He is a superhuman in all sense of the word. His reflexes are out of this world, and his one eye is a fabled evil eye, which means he can see anything naked to the human eye. So he is able to see a person or a being for their true essence. So like you said, Geno possessed a doll. He wouldn't see Geno as the doll. He would be able to see Geno as his soul, his essence. If a person's possessed, he can see that person as a demon. And when he does that, he's able to see all their weaknesses, and he's able to attack them. And just for, further, because it's a fun little thing, he can tear his arm off, tape the finger down on the trigger, and throw it as a gun. Does that help in this battle? I don't really think so. I just think it's a fun fact. He can roll around with grenades in his mouth and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just, since he can't die, he does whatever he wants with his body. And he always just regenerates. And I'll yield my time there, because there's nothing else to argue, because he's a character from one game.
So, to rebut, I guess I have almost a question for you, in that you phrased it as come back. Would that not mean that he did die, and in the terms of a death battle, him coming back to life would still mean that Geno was victorious? So the ability to kill him, wipe him out, and then he comes back, it doesn't matter that he came back. Bro is dead.
No, so he never actually dies. No matter how small he's grinded down to, he's always alive. And his head's never been able to be destroyed. So even as a head, he's never actually been dead in any sense of the word. He was just cursed with immortality, and he could never die by any means.
So if he was cursed and magic put him into this predicament, one could say that potentially magic or a wish could make him mortal again.
Like a death wish.
Didn't we have a wish previously with fucking Sweet Tooth?
Yes.
Yeah. So this has been canonly used before. So okay, might change some things.
And not only that, like I said, this guy is faster than Mario, which at the very least, Mario is an extremely fast person. I think we can all agree with that. In basically every game, he's been able to keep up with way faster people. If Geno is faster than him, that means that Geno is cooking. Also has superhuman speed. And like I said, he can morph into different things and use the power of the Star Road as magic to blast people. So,
any other rebuttals, Andrew?
So I don't really have much. It's really the immovable object versus the unstoppable person. You've got a god going against a demon hunter who can't die. To the point, his magic sword can kill anything. Where he's got like he'd be able to kill Geno eventually. Thing is, you can't die. Even if Geno cuts his head off, his head's rolling around and will eventually regrow the rest of his body, reattach the rest of his body. He's only in the one game, so there's not really that much information on him besides that.
Now there's Geno, so that actually kind of works. Ryan, any final deliberations before the judges ask questions?
He couldn't even get a sequel, let alone a series there, Jordan. He's not even in a DLC character in the games.
No, I'm ready to move on to questions if old picnic is.
Hold on 1 second here. Does anyone have a question about Bryce?
Yes.
I have no
Ash.
question.
We all have questions.
Oh boy. I was gonna say one question about Bryce. We just move on to book, but here we go. This is where we're at. Fire away.
Who's going to ask questions first?
So, I guess I'll start. One of my questions I have is, a lot of the things I picked up on Bryce is that he has burning dandruff and he likes to shoot out of his orifices. But he typically said that he has fought gods and demons. Has he fought angels, though?
I was going to say with gods, yeah, that was one of my questions is, what are these gods that you're referring to? Evil or good?
Whatever he's paid to. In the game itself, it doesn't talk much about it, what he's done before the game. In the game, he is hired by the government to kill Satan. And Beelzebub, basically. It's talked about before then that he has fought other gods and deities. And in-game text, it's mentioned that he has fought against angels as well. But you don't get to see that play out. Okay.
So it's Constantine, the movie, the game.
Yes.
Yep. I have a question about his immortality. So it's basically like Deadpool or Hulk immortality, where as long as there's one cell of him that survives, it'll grow back the rest of him.
Yeah, he's closer to Deadpool.
Okay, so does that mean that if every atom of him is destroyed, like Cell in Dragon Ball series, does that mean he ceases to exist if there's nothing left of him to regrow the rest?
So, here's the thing. In the game, it's actually brought up by his assistant.
Okay.
Because she asks, well, what if you just destroyed all your cells somehow?
Right.
And he's like,
Nuclear bomb.
right. He's like, all of my matter can't be destroyed. It'll just turn into new pieces of me, which will just still regenerate back to life.
So he's saying
He's tried.
if he's been destroyed, like his atoms will reassemble into
Yeah.
cells, then that will grow the rest of him.
Yeah.
So is there?
Because the immortality won't let him die. And so it'll keep regenerating him infinitely.
And that's his curse. He cannot cease to.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a shoe. Okay. I have questions about Geno. So, can you tell me a little bit more about his wish powers? Like, what exactly? Like, does he have to wish for stuff, and he just gets whatever he wishes for? Or?
So the power of wishes in the entire Mario universe is predicated off of Star Road, and he was the one sent by God in the world to reclaim the power of wishes from the world and bring them back up to Star Road. So he is like a warrior, meant to defend the power of wishes. And he brings that power from that world back up to Star Road at the end of the game. That's how the game ends, is him returning the power of wishes to the world.
So Geno is in an angel type creature, and he has to possess some inanimate objects for him to exist in a tangible realm. He can't exist in his angelic form.
He does not have a tangible form in the non-celestial realm.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So he possessed some tendency.
Something.
yeah, it doesn't matter. He just happened to pick this puppet. Is like it literally says in game he could be anything, but he just happened to like he went to this puppet and he just kind of liked it, so he didn't leave.
He said, and I quote, "It looked like the toughest warrior."
So, okay. And could you just refresh my memory? So, what are his attack type of abilities?
They all use the power of light from Star Road. So Geno Whirl is the one that I was talking about. It does the maximum damage possible in the game. No matter what, no other move can come close to it. It literally does like more damage than the final bosses have. That's
It's like beams of energy. Or
that one is a
Light
disc of
energy.
energy that he throws out, but it's like just a disc of like flat light energy. So I imagine the way it is it's like such a like a destructo disc type of deal where like it just slices through things because it's like the power of light.
But he doesn't have anything that could like obliterate the entirety of Bryce.
So that's the Geno Flash, is where he turns into like a giant cannon and like builds up a giant mass of that star energy and launches it out, and it explodes, kind of like a. I mean, it hurts everything in the field, and it's his final magic ability. Is that it's
There's also one where he can rain down beams of energy from Star Road and hit everything.
Yeah.
So like,
what happens if the puppet he's possessed is destroyed? Like, is this just a mild inconvenience for him, and he has to possess something?
yeah.
else?
He would just have to possess something else. It doesn't kill him.
Is he technically also functionally immortal because he can't exist in this realm, so he has to possess something
functionally,
else?
yes.
They don't ever describe a way to kill him, at the very least.
Yeah. Man.
Ryan, give me a fist bump. Give me a fist bump.
You're right, man. This is the unstoppable force versus the immovable object.
If we use Mario lore, the things of Star Road, the star spirits and everything are immortal. They can't be killed. They can be locked away, but they cannot die.
That's
At
all,
least not canonically.
that's all my questions.
Do we have any questions from Jordan before we get into vote? Well,
I have some questions, but I want Jordan to ask his first if he hasn't.
Oh yes, I got no questions. I've been highly amused by this, so I got no questions.
All right, Alex.
Sorry.
Andrew,
Yo, I'm listening.
my first question for you, I have two questions for you and I have one question for Ryan. So my first question to you, Andrew, is how does he use fire? That's something that was not clarified. Like you said, he uses elements like fire and electricity. How?
So he sets himself on fire
So how? With a lighter. So that perfect. That leads
Does he have like a
to
form of pyrokinesis then?
my second question, which is also going to be the same for Ryan, but Andrew, what is his exact loadout? What does he carry on his person? Not what he can swap out. What is his direct?
Oh, that's easy. His weapons never changed throughout the whole game. He's got dual handguns.
Okay.
He's got his
You mentioned
sword,
the sword, yeah.
and he has frag grenades.
He does have frag grenades.
Yeah.
And a lighter.
Yeah,
That's the question. So, in
I
what
have a question.
does he use the lighter?
it's not like a special attack, but it's like you hit the bumper and he lights himself on fire. It can be done really at any time. Anytime he gets set on fire or electrocuted,
It obviously, yeah. But I mean,
Well,
like in
lighter.
general, does he have the ability to light himself on fire at will?
Yeah.
So it's however much fuel the lighter has. Yeah.
I do have a question actually.
Okay.
This is for both of you. How tall are they?
I mean,
Geno's
my
like the
guy
same
is
size
like
as Mario.
a 6'4" man.
Yeah. And the Mario height discrepancy is
Oh,
debatable depending on the game.
Has he had mushrooms?
He is the Super Mario height, so he's not the short one. we're gonna say
before the votes. I also have a question though. Are you done?
that's fine. I would argue that Geno and Bryce are close in size because Geno was a small puppet, but when he takes over the power, the puppet grows in size to be about the same as Mario. So I'd say about human size.
Okay.
I have a question for Andrew.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you done?
You might.
No, I still have a question for Ryan.
Oh no, yeah, go ahead.
Ryan. I'm definitely putting you on the spot. What is Geno's loadout as far as his? Because yes, he wears the cape and everything, but through the game you can equip different weapons to increase attack and different capes to increase his defense. My more important question is the weapon. Does he have the standard shoot his hands out, or does he have the bullet guns, or does he have the star guns? Like
He
what
has
is
the
his
star gun
weapon?
and the star cape, his ultimate armor and weapon.
Okay. Thank you. That matters
and
to
also,
me.
I guess, just to give you a snippet of all of his attacks and whatnot, he has the Geno beam, which just is a beam of energy. He can boost his attack and defense with Geno Boost. Geno Whirl, we discussed. Geno Blast is the raining down light from the sky, and then Geno Flash is the large cannon.
You can ask your question first.
So does Bryce Boltzmann only exist in the Earth world, and he can't, even though his job is to kill demons, he can't travel to hell or travel to demon world and kill them there. He has to wait for them to come to him.
He can exist there, but he does not have the ability to open up the portals.
Okay.
So if Satan or a demon or an angel were to open up a portal to their realm, he can step through and he doesn't get hurt. He exists, no problem, same powers, but he can't conjure the portal himself.
Okay.
It's rumored his evil eye could, but he never tries it, so I'm just going to say he can't. I'm saying he has to wait for the portals and whatever to open up. So Ryan, if the doll is destroyed, what are the chances here? All right. Geno possesses Bryce, and we form an immortal Ultron.
It's not it's a non-zero. I don't know. I guess in the aspects of a tournament, I feel like he wouldn't, because...
So if the doll's destroyed, that would count as his death.
Well, he can possess anything. So, if it's between him losing or not, I guess I don't know what he would do in that situation. He probably would just go for... I mean, if we're doing this... he would do anything to protect the sanctity of Star Road. He does say that a couple of times in the game, so his ultimate duty would be to that, and so he would do whatever it took to win.
Okay. Oh, my vote.
I know what my vote was.
Joe, start it off.
We starting off? Okay. Yeah, there's
But
really...
before
You
you
don't
start,
get a
Joe.
vote.
Yeah, I know. I don't get a
I was
vote.
like, wait a second.
Right? I don't care what the outcome is. Whether it's a draw, either of us wins. I don't care. This was my favorite matchup. I'm so excited.
I have no idea where this is going to go.
So, I'm thinking of this as the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. Neither of these guys can really be killed. So, from a deathmatch standpoint, there's not really, there's no clear winner. I'm voting for Geno because within the context of the tournament, I'm going to count every atom of Bryce being destroyed as a kill, even if he comes back. And Bryce, Geno has some abilities of energy beams that could theoretically do that. Bryce has the actual power to kill Geno, but you said he doesn't have the ability to travel to the angelic realm where Geno's real body exists on his own command. He would need someone like Geno or someone else to let him. And I think that makes the difference for me. If he could trigger that trip himself, if he could just, snap his fingers and appear in Geno's real body realm, then I would say Bryce, because then he could actually destroy Geno. Because he can't, I'm voting
My vote's Geno. So, and is it partially because I love Geno as a character? Yes, but at the same time, one thing that really did it for me is that while yes, Bryce has fought angels and things like that, Joe is right. He does have the chance to kill him because he has a sword that can kill celestials. But the issue is not really Geno; it's a physical representation of Geno. I would argue that if the puppet was destroyed, unless Geno can immediately possess something else, I would count that as a kill as well, as Joe said with Bryce. So, like, to be fair on equal grounds, I'd say they're equivalent. But I just, this is where we get into the ever classic semi-realistic to cartoon. Like, Geno is from a very cartoony universe, whereas Bryce, despite being fantasy, is very based in reality. So my vote is for the cartoon character Geno. Sean.
So, I've looked at this multiple different ways. And starting off with the way that we traditionally look at stuff, my first instinct was that when we go into these tournaments, if a character is immortal, we always go with who would be incapacitated first. Looking at it on that small level, I would have given the edge to Bryce because we're talking about a puppet here.
A wooden puppet.
But, as the other judges have said and we have gone on with this, it's a death match. There has to be a death. And I do not see there being a physical death between these two. But with the fact that Geno can possess stuff, in my eyes, if Bryce destroys Geno, what's going to stop Geno from taking over Bryce's body and kicking him out of it? So, in the end, I'm leaning towards Geno as well. And I'm picking Geno. And as terrifying as it would be, as in Bryce's body moving on, thankfully, the battles do not transfer into the next round. But I see Geno winning, even if it's just kicking Bryce out of his own body.
Jordan.
So, for much the same reason, I am also voting for Geno.
Holy shit!
First unanimous.
Unanimous.
I feel like even if Geno were to die, the puppet were to break, and he could possess something. Assuming he can possess something really fast, what's stopping him from possessing Bryce's gun and making him shoot himself? And if Bryce dies, and he still has to reassemble himself from atoms up, a la Deadpool, but that takes time. That's not just like, boom, I'm back.
Yeah.
So I feel like that time frame itself slows him down enough that it gives Geno the win.
I think that's really what it came down to for most of us is that kind of immortality. They're both immortal, but it takes longer.
Yeah, so the two outcomes I saw were either Geno winning by removing the curse because Bryce just wants to die. That's his whole point of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
And
if you mentioned that he wants to.
why would I mention that?
Yeah.
Trying to win. Geno could have paid him off because he's just a mercenary.
Oh.
And Geno can possess his body and they move on as Immortal Ultron.
I would definitely, to double down on Andrew's point, if Bryce's whole point is to die and Geno's goal is to restore wishes to the world, he is granting Bryce's wish to die.
That's
And
true.
it was kind of touched on when he said
Yeah.
wish, and I was like, I said curse. If anyone wants to pick up on it here, that's
I picked up, but
that's the hole in one.
So
It's
we
not
have
a gift.
Alright, we
Our
finished the left
first
half of the bracket.
half of the bracket is set. So next round already, we're going to see Big the Cat versus Cassandra, Sub-Zero versus Isaac, Gamerz versus Nate Spencer, and Olimar versus Geno.
All in stipulation battle.
All in stipulation. So who knows what's going to happen? But next for our first round is going to be Gex from Gex 2, Enter the Gecko, and Undying the Undying from Undertale.
Our first wild card.
Yes, the first wild card, which is oddly enough wild card number 2. But yeah, so
Asshat. Wild card
asshat number 2.
Right.
So
Let's
yeah,
be respectful towards them.
come back for what's going to be a very interesting. Both characters are cartoony from cartoony universes, so we're not going to have shenanigans.
Or will they just
Well,
be
we'll have
shenanigans?
shenanigans, but we're not going to have regular shenanigans.
No.
All right, that's all I got. Does anyone have any thoughts?
I have one thought. So, clearly, based on how the bracket has unfolded so far, I think it's safe to say that the winner's going to be Big the Cat. So I think we could probably just skip the rest of the matches, actually, and just fork it over.
Do you have a bet somewhere that like Big Cat wins? Or you have money on this?
We haven't even
No,
gotten
but
to-
again, Mach 1 with a wrecking ball is just
That's true.
annihilating everybody.
Well,
to Tom.
Remember, we have stipulations. Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I could destroy a stipulation.
we've seen stipulations ruin things that should have won.
Like round 2, and not be a cat. Like,
Refresh,
Yeah, but he's not a cat, he's a feline, so there you
refresh
go.
my memory. What you guys mean by stipulation matches?
Cage match. Slappers
rules.
only.
Okay, so
Like,
you
sizing.
specific to that match,
Ryan said he had a thought.
and it's pulled out of the hat.
like round 2 could be a chess match.
Yes, that's how the finals went, so it's
That's
possible.
right. That's right.
So, Ryan, I thought you said you had a thought or something. Oh, there was so much.
The thought is over.
All right.
His thought was the same. Big the Cat just might as well take it.
I mean, I like the idea, but I want to see how the right side of the bracket goes.
Tom Nook's winning that whole side. It doesn't
It's
matter.
possible Tom Nook
Possible.
will win.
Awesome.
It doesn't.
Like there could be stipulations for the rest of the rounds. You have to be a goat to win. Like
Who would win in a climbing contest up a sheer mountain? Is it a goat or is it a fucking
Tom Nook,
human
Tom Nook
being?
would just pay him not to, you know.
Well, no, I'm looking at that in that area it would be Riku or Gerald. Either way, they're both humans.
And both of them suck at climbing, so. Earthworm Jim could be close.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen an Earthworm climb, Joe?
I've
Have you
not.
seen it?
On that
It's
note,
arms
join
and
us
it's
next
up the mountain.
time. This is what it is.